did not make it. None of them loved God with all their heart, mind, soul, and strength. Did not make it. And so I get to this valley of decision. What do I want to do with my life? What do I want to do with my life? Because I didn't make it as a ball player. I graduated college, but I didn't know which direction to go. So I moved out to California. I left Iowa, moved out to California, and had new territory, Sacramento, California. The Sacramento Kings were really good that year. So I started playing ball with some of those guys, some of the guys from overseas. And so that passion started to come back. And I'm playing with these guys, and lo and behold, all of them were like, you should try out. You should try out. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it another shot. I'll give it one last shot. And again, I remember, not my will, but your will be done. I remember saying that again. And so I woke up the very next morning. I was getting ready to go try out. I'm ironing my clothes and putting on my shoes and making sure I got a business attire for the interview and then sports attire for the physical interview. And I remember getting out of the bed or getting ready to leave, and my knee started hurting. Hadn't hurt in 4 years. The moment I'm getting ready to go try out for the Sacramento Kings, it starts to hurt again. And so that thorn in the flesh that's spoken up by Paul, it happened to him. And so I was like, oh man, what is going on here? Getting ready to make it, I'm going to try out again, and now my stupid knee hurts. So I had to cancel it, went to the doctor, sure enough, had to have another surgery, and I didn't hurt my knee at all. It'd been different had I twisted it or tweaked it, but literally I woke up and it was hurting. And so that made me open my eyes to what God was saying to me. And so that was in '99 when the church was starting. So it was kind of like he was slowing me down to get ready to be part of his remnant. And so I had another surgery, carry on a couple months later, I get ready to try out again, same thing happened. My knee hurts again. And so I have another surgery. So if you do the math, up to last year, when I had both of my knees replaced, I've had about 9 knee surgeries, and it is not worth it. Living for God is worth it. And so turning that off and turning on, God, what do you want from me? What life do you want from me? Because he provided me with, I feel like, a gift of leadership, but I used it the wrong way for centuries, basically. And so now I get an opportunity to speak and to say that I would never go back to that life, and to have this opportunity to speak to young men, to speak to gifted young men, to speak to men that are here, and then men who live in Texas, live outside of this particular state. Number one thing I would tell you, love God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your strength, and then love other people as yourself. And the reason why I say that, you'll never know what God wants to do in you, no matter where you are. You can be at a gas station, you can be in Washington, D.C. I've seen God show up and just use me because I love him wherever. I'm going to give you an example. This past week, I work in corporate America. I work for a company called Tri-West. And it's funny that I work for a company that serves veterans. They have all fought in the war. And so my particular team helps them get health care quicker. Because if you know anything about the healthcare industry with the veterans, they are in a situation where they've gone to war. Some of them don't have their legs, some of them do not have arms, some of them are missing jawbones. I mean, when you read their consult sheets, they've been in war. And I can read and say, gosh, what are they going through? And so they have to wait to go see the doctor. Just imagine if you've got a bruised knee here. Just imagine if your bone was hanging out and you had to wait 2 months to see the doctor. That would be tremendously painful. So this is what our veterans have to go through, because if the line is so long and the VA hospital is only so big that they can only see so many people. And so the government has contracted with my company to say, hey, Daniel Ange, his appointment is in September, and he's in pain now. But he needs an appointment now, but his appointment is in September. So Daniel would call my company, and we would get him an appointment with another doctor, let's say in 2-3 days. So that's what we currently do for the veterans. And so I supervise a team of about 30 people, and I get new hires all the time. And what I mean by loving God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, all your strength, God can use you in ways you would never think is possible. And so I had an opportunity where I had a new staff member. She came over to my desk the other day, and I was supposed to start working from home. I don't know if any of your parents work from home now, but I have never had that opportunity to work from home. And so my company's growing fast enough to where I can work from home now. And that was supposed to begin on Monday of last week. And so I got to work on Monday, and it didn't happen. And so I was tested with, do I complain, do I grumble, or do I just keep doing my job? What do you guys think I did? Why is that?
Because that's what God wanted. He wanted you to obey your authority.
Perfect. Because we are to do everything without complaining, everything without grumbling, and everything as unto God. Those are the 3 things that I try to live by at work, and that I live by at work daily. And so my boss didn't give me direction, but do you think I went in and said, where's the direction at? I need some help. You weren't there for me. No. I prayed and I asked God, what do you want from me? And so I came back into the office, although I was supposed to be at home. Everybody in the office knew I was supposed to be at home, so they wanted to see how I was going to handle the situation. And I said, hey, in God's timing, I'll be home. In the right timing, I will be at home. And so the week goes by, and Thursday comes of last week, and there's this new staff member who comes over to my desk, and she has some tears in her eyes. Now, none of this would have happened had I been at home when everybody said I was supposed to be at home. But God wanted me in the office for this particular reason. So one of my new members walked over to my desk. She had tears in my eyes. One of her children was allergic to peanuts. I don't know if any of you guys are allergic in here, but I hear it's a big, big deal. It's a big scare for parents, and some of the children have to have EpiPens to not be so allergic to where they need to go to the hospital. Well, her son was in New Orleans with his dad, and so the dad dropped the child off at the daycare, and the daycare did not have the EpiPen for the child. Now the child can identify peanuts and peanut butter, all that, but when it's mixed up into a meal, the child can't identify what's in that particular meal. And so this child, he ate the meal that they provided, had an allergic reaction. There was no EpiPen to help with that situation, and so the child was rushed to ICU. So she runs, she's in Nashville, her son's in New Orleans. She comes over to my desk, and it's her first week of training. So if you're in a new job, the very first week of training, you know you don't miss training because you could get fired. You just don't miss training because you could get fired, no matter what. So that's going through her mind, and she's all worried, and I just looked at her and I said, that was my child. I would be on the next road smoking. I would be there. I would be there. So she was weary, and she didn't know how to take what I was telling her because I was her boss, but she's not used to a boss supporting that particular decision. And so she had to go back into the room and literally think about what I said. And then she came back out, and then she was crying even more because her child had declined a little more within that hour. And so she came bawling, and then I clocked out of my desk, and I walked to the back. And this is part of the leadership that God has given me now. Whereas before, the leadership, I was not quality leadership prior to this message. And so the leadership that I have now was able to take her into the back room and pray with her. I was able to pray with her over this situation, being her boss, being that I can pull my staff off the floor at any given time. So I was able to pray with her and give her guidance as to what to do with her child. And so she called her mom, and she was, I'm going to say, she didn't have a lot of money because she was waiting for her mom to wire her some money to the store. Then she was going to take the money and then get the gas and leave. And so I was like, nope, follow me down to the gas station. So I got in my car. She followed me to the gas station. My team provided her with gas. And as I'm sitting there pumping her gas, I'm thinking, I'm loving God with all my heart, all my mind, all my soul, all my strength, and I'm loving her as myself. I'm thinking, if I were driving to New Orleans, what would I want to listen to? And so I look in my car, and this is why you always want to stay dressed and ready. And that just means dressed in your heart, but dressed with material to help other people. And so I had some constant encouragement in my car, and I'm praying like, God, what do I give her? Because she's on an 8-hour ride, so I'm just